Since Portland Timbers 2's first season, Providence Park has been their home, sharing the venue with the MLS Timbers and Portland Thorns of NWSL. Tonight, it is T2 that will christen the newly renovated Sports Cathedral, which was first completed in 1926. The matchup tonight is fitting as expansion side El Paso Locomotive is looking to extend an unbeaten run, while T2 hopes to celebrate the grand reopening of Providence Park with 3 points. It's match day 11 as Timbers 2 welcomes El Paso Locomotive to Soccer City, USA. And with that, we welcome you to the broadcast booth here high above Providence Park and alongside former U.S. Women's National Team player and current Thorns Academy Director Laura Schott. I'm Fletcher Johnson. Laura, for Portland Timbers 2, 5 results in their last 6 matches. They'd like to continue that here this evening.
T2's built some great momentum. They've been scoring goals. They've been scoring goals on the road. They've been getting results. So today it'll be very interesting to see how they compete against an El Paso team that's had great results on the road as well.
It's an expansion side in El Paso Locomotive, but you wouldn't know it from the results. As you mentioned, they're unbeaten on the road so far in 3 matches and unbeaten overall in their last 5 matches.
Yeah, it's amazing. They do a great job on the road. They build the attack very well. They're very dynamic. It'll be a fun game to watch today.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our players to watch, and we'll start off with the home side, T2. Dairon Asprilla, Team of the Week performer last week in the 4-1 win over Tacoma, had a pair of goals.
You don't have to say much about Dairon Asprilla. He can get into goal in multiple ways. He can score on a bike. He can score with his head. He's a good finisher. He's just a fun player to watch.
Meanwhile, for El Paso Locomotive, it's all gone through their man up top, Jerome Keysweater. He has 6 goals in his last 3 matches.
As you mentioned, Fletcher, he has 6 goals in the last 3 matches. He's been very dangerous on goal. He has 3 braces in the last few matches. So he's a schemer. He likes to get into goal by pressuring defenders. He scored a couple goals pressuring defenders, winning balls, but he can also finish with his feet, being played to his feet and finishing on goal. So we'll see what he does today.
Both of these teams currently in the top 5 places of USL Championships Western Conference and squaring off for the first time in their respective histories here tonight. We open Providence Park coming up next with starting lineups and opening kickoff.
It's Brighter! What a hit! It's electric. Into the box, it's strike, and a goal.
Broadcast booth here high above Providence Park and alongside former U.S. Women's National Team player and current Thorns Academy Director Laura Schott. I'm Fletcher Johnson. Laura, for Portland Timbers 2, 5 results in their last 6 matches. They'd like to continue that here this evening.
T2's built some great momentum. They've been
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. All right, welcome back to Providence Park. Portland Timbers 2, of course, led by Cameron Knowles in his 2nd season, taking on El Paso Locomotive tonight. And Knowles 22-15-7 as head coach of this side, and he'll put out a 4-2-3-1 with 4 changes from the 4-1 win over Tacoma. Defines Kendall McIntosh his first appearance of the season, Laura, and Max Orn still gets his first start there in central defense.
What a great opportunity to start to christen this new expansion at Providence Park. When you have a new goalkeeper, a change at the center back position, you want to make sure that they're on the same page today. So moving forward, we want to make sure as they step out, they step back, that goalkeeper, that back line, they're working together.
Meanwhile, for the visitors, El Paso Locomotive, led by Mark Lowry, as you might imagine, in his first year for this expansion side, was named head coach and technical director on July 25th of 2018. It's a 4-4-2, although it will really morph into a 4-2-3-1 as the match goes along. 4 changes from their 3-1 win over Sacramento on May 18th. Logan Ketterer, the start in goal, and Jerome Keysweater, as we mentioned, up top.
El Paso, I was shocked to hear that they were an expansion team when I learned that. They are so organized. They can get forward together. They play great through balls. They're very dangerous in the attack.
So we are just about set for kickoff here from Providence Park. $85 million renovation, and really this club treating this more as a grand reopening of this stadium than a renovation, so to speak. You take into consideration all the changes, both visible when you're in the bowl of the stadium as well as in the concourse as well, and it's pretty exciting to see. And certainly, Laura, we are excited to be here to kick this thing off. The MLS Timbers will be here on June 1st in a nationally televised match against LAFC, but Portland Timbers too gets the opportunity to open this building and a chance to do it in style as well. Our head referee today, Eligio Erigan. He's assisted by Andrew Marhart on the near side, Noah Kenyawani on the far side, and Powell Soka is our fourth official here this evening. Rainy afternoon turning into evening here at Providence Park. Temperatures in the mid-50s. It's rained the majority of the afternoon. Shouldn't have too much of an effect on this match. Not too windy. And there's the whistle, and we are underway. New turf here as well at Providence Park for this season. Portland Timbers, too, as mentioned, 5-2-3 so far this season. 18 points. They have 5 results in their last 6 matches. Meanwhile, El Paso Locomotive, 4-2-4 on 16 points. They're in 5th place in the Western Conference. Pretty darn good for an expansion side in USL Championship. They were founded in 2018, and the Locomotive name was chosen over Lagartos, Estrellas, Stars, and Tawanos. They are owned by Mountain Star Sports Group, which incidentally also owns the El Paso Chihuahuas. That's a AAA baseball team that actually used to be here in Portland playing in this building. That was the Portland Beavers. As T2 works the ball down the far side, but it's shielded out across the end line by El Paso here as we cross into the second minute. You look at Brian Hurtado there, the 19-year-old from Venezuela on loan starting in March for T2. Ketterer under some pressure, does end up getting it out to Herrera, and El Paso releases the pressure, brings the ball forward for the first time tonight. They find Omar Salgado, who spent time training with the MLS Timbers back in the early part of the 2010s. Cleared out to danger. Marvin Loria picks it up. Loria played against Tacoma for the first time in a couple months after recovering from a foot injury, dispossessed there. And Intoko, I should say, will pick it up. Chiro Intoko, the 31-year-old from Zaire. Laura, T2 pressing high early here, trying to win it away from El Paso, as they do right there.
That early press makes sense to me. See El Paso in the last few games, they're a team that likes to build out of the back, so you can see they play their goalkeeper. They're comfortable playing out to their backs. They build out to the wide backs. They can play centrally. You mentioned that, holding mid, and then they try to get the ball wide again. They're very comfortable in possession. T2 pressing forward. They're trying to challenge that early, see if they can pick one off.
Not sure if Harold Hansen was called for a foul there, but that ball sat on the line, and certainly from our vantage point, didn't look like it went out, though the center referee awarded it to El Paso. We're back underway. Asprilla maybe gets away with a grab there. Can't do anything with it, as Yuma does well to track back and take it away from Asprilla. Although, great touch there by Loria to deflect the pass forward from Herrera, and maybe an opportunity that T2 can take advantage of. Luis Herrera making his first start of the season, just 23 years old. And he'll certainly be put to the test by T2 here tonight. Orange still gets turned by Keysweater. Then Keysweater loses it out to touch. Felt like he was held.
Yeah, you saw a little jersey pull there, but Keysweater is such an athletic player. You see there, he turns, he tries to get in behind, and he's very quick on the turn. He's very speedy just in space. So you got to be careful to stick with him and always know where he is. He likes to sit in those gaps between a wide back, center back, 2 center backs as well. So he likes to split their vision and then try to find spaces.
Switch out to the far side there to Rebillon. And El Paso brings it forward. Mentioned how dynamic this El Paso team has been. They're undefeated on the road in 3 tries so far this season. Ball early into the box, sent across in a dangerous manner in front of McIntosh, but the run on the far side wasn't coming. And danger averted there for Portland as we cross into the 5th minute. Kendall McIntosh getting his first appearance of the season, recovering from a left thigh injury. Gets into the game, 17 appearances in 20. Such a vital part of the success. Out Key Sweater that one, and plays it back to McIntosh. So a bit of back and forth action here. Laura, as we look at this match, what do you view as important for T2 to get a win or a draw here this evening?
We'll see how this high press works out. If they're able to pick one off earlier, here we see Esprilla winning the ball into space. If they're able to win a ball like that and transition forward with numbers, T2's been doing that well all season. They've been able to transition, get the ball wide, scored on a lot of crosses. So if they're able to do that successfully today, it may be in their favor.
Some pressure from El Paso wins back possession. Now at the feet of James Kiffey, veteran of USL, spent a fair amount of seasons with Sacramento. As this ball forward for Contreras. Contreras ball across to Salgado, just too far in front of him though. He picks it up as it rolls outside the box. Salgado now look 1v1 versus Farfan, takes the shot straight into the chest of Kendall McIntosh.
Nice little cut inside by Salgado there. I'm sure he wished he could get a little more on that ball, put it a little bit closer to the far post, but he gets a nice shot off.
Omar Salgado, as mentioned, trained with the MLS Timbers in 2011, was eventually drafted by Vancouver that same year. It's a bad pass there by Ketterer, momentarily picked up by Esprilla. And I think he started attacking goal before he had the ball, and it ends up in a goal kick.
There you see Esprilla again in that space. He wins a ball there.
We look back at the chance for El Paso.
Oh, the cross comes in. Yeah, just a little bit too long. The far post runs a little bit too late, and they have to recycle again.
High press there by Wharton, and Wharton called for the foul right at the corner of the 18. Some good back and forth action here in the first 7 minutes.
Wharton on that foul, that's a good indication of the high press by T2 here. Pressing high will bring the holding mid high up to the 18.
Chidama does well to win that. Kind of was late. Farfan thought he was coming for it, and Anguiano fouled by Contreras. Carlos Anguiano, not big in stature, but has played very big when he's gotten into these matches for T2. Just 5'8", 120 pounds, 18 years old, from Salem, Oregon. Making his second appearance and start of the season. This pass, though, knocked away by Key Sweater. Anguiano does well enough to slow down the counterattack, but here comes Ross down the near side. Defended by Hansen as he dribbles into the 18. Works around one, finds Contreras. Contreras will play it back outside to Kiffey. Great work there by T2 to not allow an opportunity to track back quickly in defense. And eventually El Paso has to play it all the way back into their own half.
You can see here El Paso recycling the ball back to their backs and then bringing it out wide again. They're not afraid to bring the ball back to then exploit space on the other side of the field. They're pretty patient in the attack.
Great work there by Loria, who's taken down, splits 2 defenders in Herrera and Yuma, and earns a free kick. Laura, it's pretty evident, at least here through the first 9 minutes, that El Paso can be prone to turn the ball over if Portland can press in the right manner.
If T2 is successful in that high press, they might be able to pick one off early. When you can pick one off early in the final third, create some great chances on goal, create some dangerous attack, can build momentum quickly.
Ball out to Farfan. His first touch lets him down a bit. And Rebillon's able to recover and earn a throw. It was great work cycled, though, from Anguiano to Wharton and then over the top for Farfan. He just couldn't quite control it. This time, Drew Becky, the midweek signing for El Paso, sends the ball forward, and Ornstill fouls Keysweater. What a start to the season for Keysweater, especially here in the last month. Has 6 goals in the last 3 matches, a brace in each match. All positive results for El Paso.
You see how he presses, you can see how he puts pressure on the opponent, not just by defending, but by the runs that he makes, by the speed that he has. When you have a player up top that can do that, can produce multiple braces in consecutive games, you know you have somebody that can change a game for you.
Important cut out by Ornstill. Gets the ball to Loria. Loria able to get away from Kiffey momentarily. And now we'll try the long ball for this one. Way too much on it for Hurtado, who was making the diagonal run. 11th minute, in case you're just joining us, Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you at the newly renovated Providence Park for Portland Timbers 2 and El Paso Locomotive. It's the first match at Providence Park since the renovation. Bit of a soft opening. T2 will play here tonight and on Wednesday night against Real Monarchs. As T2 earns a throw just in front of the El Paso bench. Laura, we've had a chance to look around. Media's had a chance to check out the new digs of the Portland Timbers and Portland Thorns, as well as Portland Timbers 2. A nice touch off the chest there by Farfan. Central for Hurtado. Prep touch with his left, blocked by Becky. Then tries to hit it with his right. Comes off the outside of his boot, takes the deflection. It'll be the first corner kick of the night.
Another great run by Farfan. We've seen that before. He gets down that flank, and here it is, that great switch ball from right to left. And here he is with that wonderful first touch, cutting in. He cuts that ball back, and great play by El Paso to block that shot.
So Wharton will take the corner kick. This would usually be reserved for Eric Williamson. He was in the 18 for the MLS Timbers tonight in Philadelphia. Asprilla gets his head to it, but can't direct it on frame. Wharton still over to defend. And potentially avoid a counterattack from El Paso. And great work by T2 to quickly earn the ball back again. Loria fouled multiple times, it looked like, and then finally does go down. Rebillon called for the foul, and this would be a dangerous chance to send the ball in for T2.
That foul probably could have been called earlier. You see Loria here, he turns a corner and he gets held, and another player comes, contact again. Finally, the final contact brings him down, and foul's eventually called. He did a great job to work and try to fight through that.
He's a dynamic player. Both Loria and Renzo Zambrano, who's away with the Venezuelan national team, were signed to MLS contracts with the Portland Timbers in the offseason by virtue of their stellar performances with Portland Timbers 2 a year ago. Zambrano continues to play at times with T2, made his MLS debut with the Portland Timbers against Houston a couple weeks ago. And Loria, as mentioned, coming back from a foot injury that kept him out the last couple months. You see how dynamic he can be. Wharton to strike the free kick. Sends it in off the head of Yuma and out for a second corner kick of the night. So T2 with the better of the possession here early. And also the better of the opportunities.
It's a great ball in by Wharton. Dangerous bending ball. El Paso was lucky to get ahead on that and deflect it out for a corner.
Loria is showing short here for Wharton. Looks like Wharton waved him off, though. Langsdorff is right in front of Ketterer. This ball low towards the penalty spot. Asprilla gets to it, but pops it over the bar.
Asprilla a little unfortunate on that one. Wharton played a great ball in. It's right where you want it, low and hard, and you can just put a little contact on it and finish it, but it gets away from Asprilla.
Langsdorff quickly back and earns his team another corner kick. Ketterer got it caught up at his feet, and Langsdorff quickly back with that high press, forces Ketterer to play it across his end line.
There we see T2 again. They're pressing that build out. So far, they're gaining some advantage from it.
Our head referee, Eligio Edigan, will chat with Foster Langsdorff and Logan Ketterer. Langsdorff's playing right there in front of Ketterer. This is dangerous for Rebillon. If he grabs Langsdorff at all, this could be danger. This ball headed away by El Paso, though. Picked up by Anguiano, plays it back to Hansen. He'll go out wide for Asprilla. And Asprilla, silly foul on Rebillon. He was going to be able to go back, pick that one up, and keep the pressure high. Quarter hour in here at Providence Park in Portland, Oregon. Fletcher Johnson, Laura Schott here with you. Laura, what have you seen through the first 15 minutes?
Through the first 15, T2 pressing that build out has gained some advantage for them. They've earned corners. They've thrown off the rhythm of the El Paso side. And if you can throw off rhythm and a build out, sometimes you can gain advantage, gain chances, gain some opportunities, which T2 has in the form of corners and just, again, throwing their rhythm off.
Salgado plays out for Kiffey. The left back all the way forward, sends across into the box, finds the feet of Salgado, whiffs on it a bit, goes all the way through, picked up on the far side. This is Contreras, sends a dangerous ball in. And Kendall McIntosh with the quick dive down to make sure it doesn't get all the way across his box because Key Sweater was lurking.
Ball coming down the flank. Outswinger with the left foot. Tries to put it on frame, it doesn't. But El Paso, as they do, they keep possession, they'll keep working, they try to circulate the ball. They do a great job of keeping possession.
And that would have been tough for Salgado. Ball was a little bit behind him. But you bet he relishes the opportunity to be here in this building. He's played here before. Rebillon forward for Salgado. 25-year-old from El Paso. Goes back to Becky. Drew Becky, as mentioned, picked up midweek by El Paso. Mishak Jerome, one of their regular center backs, will be going away to play for Haiti in the Gold Cup. So El Paso was in need of another center back. Picked up Drew Becky, a player who was the 28th overall pick of 2013 by the Columbus Crew. Spent time with multiple USL clubs over the last 5 seasons. Has a pretty interesting story as well. We can tell you that a little bit later, as Contreras able to work the ball through a couple T2 players, Asprilla and Farfan, and earn the foul. So you look at Drew Becky, he was playing over in Sweden in 2017, actually suffered cardiac arrest due to a virus he had that attacks the heart. Cannot imagine for a player who was born and grew up in Canada to have to go through that, his family to have to go through that, living in a different country. And luckily for Drew Becky and all parties involved, turned out to be okay. Doctors found the virus, took care of it, and here he is back playing soccer again. Laurie does well to shield it away from Yuma. Then Langsdorff picks it up, takes it backwards. He'll switch the point of attack over to Hansen. Big skip off the turf. Hansen does well to keep it in play. Back to Wharton. T2 with an extended spell of possession here, as things seem to have settled down a little bit from that first 10 minutes, Laura.
T2 now doing a good job of circulating the ball and looking for this this longer ball from Jadama to Hansen. Had some success connecting it, but haven't been able to then take advantage of that ball and move into the final third with it.
Dangerous ball. Eventually finds its way back to Ketterer. But T2 have switched their attacking midfielders, their wingers, Brian Hurtado and Asprilla. Asprilla started on the right, Hurtado on the left. Now it's Hurtado on the right and Asprilla on the left. Loria does well to take that in front of Yuma, and then Hurtado fouled by Contreras. Yuma's 33 years old. He's showing his age here so far tonight, as Loria's been much quicker to the ball, as you would expect from a 21-year-old. Farfan with acres of space in front of him, heavy touch, and Salgado tracks back to defend and take it off of Farfan. Asprilla called for the foul on Contreras. Tyron Asprilla, as we mentioned, the 4 goals so far this season. Brace last match had a bicycle kick goal back on March 23rd against Las Vegas Lights that ended up in SportsCenter's top 10. Over 100,000 views on social media. It was a thing of beauty, as once again T2's high press earns them a throw. T2 with just 1 loss in their last 6 matches. That 1 loss did come at home to Rio Grande Valley FC at the end of April. It's tough, believe it or not. That match was April 30th. This is just the 2nd match since that game against RGV. They played in Tacoma. A 4-1 win as Salgado dribbles into the 6. Tries to play it central for Keysweater. And T2 able to get it out of danger. That was a dangerous moment from Salgado, who's been all over the field so far here. Nice turnout for fans who had the opportunity to watch the Portland Timbers earn a result in Philadelphia and then make their way here to Providence Park. Pretty cool opportunity for the Timbers organization. Thorns FC beat Sky Blue today 1-0. Portland Timbers beat Philadelphia Union 3-1. Brace from Brian Fernandez in his first start with the team. And now T2 trying to complete the 9-point day, so to speak. Ross and Contreras playing a little give and go with one another. Nice touch there by Yuma to play central to Herrera to release the pressure. Contreras tries a diagonal ball for Keysweater. And Laura, you mentioned Contreras, a true number 10 in the way that he sets up his teammates.
You can see from the beginning of the game between Contreras, Ross, Salgado, there's a lot of triangulation. There's a lot of switching positions. They understand each other very well. When one vacates space, another one will enter it, try and bait the T2 defense. And Keysweater, one thing that you can tell that he does is he likes to step into that space between center backs. He likes to split the defender's vision, and an intelligent forward will do that so that the defender can't see the ball and the forward at the same time. So he's drifting into that space, hoping to split that defender's vision, and El Paso's done a good job of finding him in those spaces in games past, and they're looking for it today.
Rebillon wins the header, straight back into possession for T2. Anguiano in the center circle has time and space. Will play out to Hansen, but too far out in front of him. Fans, follow Portland Timbers 2 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Hansen has it. Central for Anguiano. Anguiano's switch deflected. Picked up by Kiffy. To Ntoko. Whose pass forward is cut out by Anguiano. T2 win possession back, but then Anguiano called for a foul.
I don't know about that, Fletcher.
Cameron Knowles certainly isn't happy.
First approach, it looked like a pretty fair play. Maybe the referee saw that his leg came up over the ball, but really that was just a product of follow through of making contact with the ball rather than play of trying to come over the ball.
Anguiano gets a bit of a talking to, and we're back to action. It's one of those plays, though, Laura, that I imagine from your defensive-minded midfielder you'll take. You want Anguiano to be aggressive, play on that edge, make sure that those El Paso players know that he's around and he's lurking and he's not afraid to put in a challenge.
I love strong defensive midfielders that ball win and want to be physical, want to get stuck in, just as he did there, just as Anguiano did there. And he won the first ball, he goes for the second. Really felt it was unlucky to him there that his foot went over the ball, but I see what the referee could see out of that and why he would want to speak to him, but I really think it was incidental, not intentional.
It's a great job by Nick Ross to work that ball out, and then eventually rolls out to touch. Ball clearly went out off of El Paso. Key Sweater tried to come over, quickly take the throw, thinking it was El Paso's earned throw. He's not quite paying attention, or he's trying to believe in it so much and convince the lineman here that it was El Paso's ball. Hansen nutmegs Herrera. Back out for another T2 throw. Hansen, you look at him, you think, man, he looks like he's 25, 27 years old, just 19 years old, legs like tree trunks, playing there at that right back spot. Anguiano out into space for Farfan. Numbers forward for T2. Can Farfan get something done? Rebellon takes down Farfan. It's a bit clumsy from both players there, and in the end, just a throw for T2. Anguiano back for Jadama. Light touch, just has to send it forward as Contreras was coming up. As you look at Cameron Knowles, we mentioned the success that he's had, made the playoffs for the first time, did Portland Timbers too under Cameron Knowles, was named head coach back on January 8th of 2018 after 6 seasons as an assistant with the MLS Timbers. Spria stands on it, falls down, gets back up. Wharton, the veteran that he is, just steps forward under the pressure of Key Sweater, knowing he won't follow him. Hansen then tries a chip over the top that just goes out to touch. So we've seen a couple good chances for these two teams. The first 15 minutes, not really much sense though, as Key Sweater is offside there. Nice high line held by T2. Ball forward from Jadama, looking for Spria. Spria does well to win it back for his team though, and then Ross with an important touch. Although Hansen continuing the pressure on Kiffy. Kiffy trying to find an option, just pops it out only as far as Anguiano, touches off the chest looking for Wharton. Can't get anything done with it though, then tries to touch it around Herrera. Nice idea, but Herrera did well. Contreras long switch. Only finds Farfan, back to McIntosh, who hasn't had much to do so far tonight.
Nice spot of composure there by Farfan just to play that simply back to McIntosh and let him clear the ball. A lot of defenders will turn, they'll play it off the end line, they'll not have the awareness that they have time to do that. They'll sometimes give up corners.
Rain continuing to fall here as we're just about a half hour in. Just joining us, Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you. First match at the newly renovated Providence Park. $85 million expansion that added 4,000 plus seats on the east side of the stadium. As you can see there, the SC USA, Soccer City USA, added to the seats. Beautiful new roof, LED lights, and so much more. Really make this a cauldron. Laura, we talked about it as we walked in. Didn't feel like the stadium was small before, but then you see the addition as Asprilla goes down and is fouled by Kiffy, at just how much bigger it seems to make the place.
Now, as we all know, this stadium is so historic. It's got so much history. So many teams have played here from its baseball years, moving into the USL, moving into the MLS, T2, the Thorns, Timbers all playing here. And now with this new renovation, I mean, from being the amazing stadium that it was, I mean, you look across the field and it's a whole new standing. It gives it a whole different feel, and it's just amazing.
Langsdorff is fouled by Intoko, who will be the first player to go into the book. Langsdorff goes down and earns a dangerous set piece.
Yeah, Langsdorff takes that touch, and he really just gets taken out at the thigh there. That's going to get called every time.
So Wharton and Loria will stand over this one. Loria so dangerous with his left foot. Question is this good enough to be a shooting position? Maybe a left-footed curling in-swinger towards Ketterer could really worry the keeper, or will it be Wharton with his right foot?
And in this situation, that's what you want the opponent to think about. You want it to be unpredictable. They don't know what's going to come right now. Wharton might take it, Loria might take it, and the product is a completely different ball.
It'll be Wharton. Wharton towards the back post over the head of Jadama, who was there. That was a good 4 feet over his head. Nice idea, as Jadama had beat his mark to the back post, but Wharton just put it a little too high.
Fairly predictable, but also intelligent there. Jadama has scored on sets with his head this year, and Wharton targets him. It's just, as you said, Fletcher, a little bit high in the moment.
Yeah, Jadama is the team's third leading scorer with 3 goals so far this season, behind only Asprilla and Langsdorff. Asprilla gets around one man, still with it. He goes to ground inside that half circle at the top of the 18-yard box. Yuma was there, and El Paso carries the other way. Ross back to Intoko, now carrying a yellow card. Under pressure from Langsdorff. Ornstill and Key Sweater go shoulder to shoulder, and Ornstill does enough to win that ball for T2. Really frustrated Key Sweater, who's been quiet for the majority of the night.
It really seemed that El Paso was targeting him the first 15 minutes of the game, and he was looking to get behind, and in this last 15 minutes hasn't been as much of a factor.
Ketterer was active early, hasn't had much to do as of late. Hurtado nearly there in front of Herrera. Luis Herrera, an interesting story for El Paso. We'll get to that momentarily as Salgado carries the ball forward. Back to Yuma. And Contreras, 3 assists for Contreras so far this season. Plays this ball outside Salgado, couldn't find it, though he earns his team a throw-in. 10 yards from the end line. Ross will drop it and leave it for Kiffy. Quickly thrown in for Contreras. Contreras defended by a pair, tries a back heel to Ross, it doesn't come off. And T2 clear forward. And Toko in front of Langsdorff plays it all the way back to Ketterer. Logan Ketterer, the 25-year-old from Madison, Wisconsin, was drafted by the Columbus Crew in the 2017 draft, the 4th round. Made his pro debut in 2018 in the U.S. Open Cup for the Crew. Ketterer, his junior year of high school, shut out every opponent in the playoffs, which was the first time ever that had happened in Wisconsin high school soccer. Work there by T2 out here on the near side. Loria and Hansen. But it's back in possession of El Paso. Wharton with the high press. And then Toko, plenty of time and space on the ball. Now to Kiffy. And dispossessed by Esprit. Here comes Loria. Loria taken out by Yuma. And that'll be about the 3rd or 4th foul on Yuma, who knows he's close to going in the book.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does on this play. It doesn't look like he's going to get booked, but I mean, he really goes in backwards. Not much intent on the ball in that play.
You see that matchup. Yuma, as mentioned earlier, 33 years old from Spain. Marvin Loria, 21 years old from Costa Rica, gets the better of him once again. This time it'll be Loria. Loria in swinger, lines ahead of Salgado, eventually all the way back out to Loria, sprays it towards the top of the 18. Warren still able to get it back to Jadama, and T2 keep the pressure up. Rebellon helped out by Herrera against Espria. Now to Anguiano out wide to Farfan. Farfan has time to cross, will send it in. Goes through the legs of Espria. I think he might have been dummying it on for Langsdorff, but didn't get through Kiffy as El Paso brings the other direction.
Savvy played a step over the ball there by Espria. That ball almost got through, but Kiffy comes up big. If he hadn't gotten to that ball, Langsdorff was waiting on the back post.
Momentary brain lapse there by our head referee. Ball was deflected out off of Langsdorff. Becky was trying to clear it. He said it was T2 ball, but then changed it. Said, my fault, that is an El Paso throw. Flex out off of Espria. 38th minute, about 7.5 minutes remaining before halftime. Horn still strong win of the header over Contreras, who looks at head referee. And then Langsdorff called for a foul. El Paso quickly plays and comes the other direction. Here's Salgado. Hurtado and Farfan there. Salgado forgot the ball that time. And here comes Hurtado bringing it forward, and then Salgado called for the foul on Hurtado. And Salgado will come over and complain. He's incensed. He felt like he was fouled by Farfan. Problem is you left the ball behind on your long dribble forward. Jadama happy to take his time with this restart, wearing the captain's armband today. Look for Langsdorff. Langsdorff and Becky go up for that one. Becky wins it. Then Salgado able to slide and knock the ball back to his teammate. Not many great opportunities so far in this match, as Langsdorff able to cut out that pass from Ntoko, goes down to the ground, and a penalty kick is called. Rebellon is incensed, but Langsdorff goes down in the box, and Portland will have a chance to take the lead from the spot.
T2 coming off big off this high press. Langsdorff presses. He wins the ball. Looks to cut inside. Sees the defender. Defender comes over that right leg. See that defender recovering, and he comes back, makes contact with that leg. Anytime that happens, you leave yourself open for the opportunity to give up a PK.
A lot of times you think that this is a great opportunity to score. It usually is. T2 have not necessarily taken advantage of their opportunities from the spot so far this season. Just 3 for 7 as Salgado will go in the book. That, I'm sure, complaining, feeling he was fouled earlier on and arguing that that wasn't a penalty kick. As mentioned, though, T2 3 for 7 so far this year, but Dairon Asprilla 2 for 2. He scored against Las Vegas Lights back on March 23rd, and then on May 12th, their last match against Tacoma Defiance, he scored as well. Can he make it 3 for 3 and give T2 the lead 5 minutes before the break? It'll be a right-footed shot from Asprilla. Steps, strikes, saved, but back to Asprilla, who puts it in with his left foot.
Asprilla with the PK and the follow. It's a great read by the goalkeeper to make that initial save, but gotta have defenders that follow, and they don't. Asprilla just steps forward and finishes.
Well, not the prettiest.
Asprilla with that little step. He does that on his PKs. He slows, 2 big steps. Looks for that right post. Keeper makes a big save, but Asprilla follows his shot and puts it away.
For being honest, I'm sure that if we asked Dairon Asprilla after this match, he would say that was not a well-taken penalty kick, but luckily Ketterer put it right back to him, and he finished with his less favored left foot that time. And all that matters in the end is Portland 1 and El Paso 0. Well, when T2 score first this season, they are 4-1-0. So, hoping to pick up 3 points here tonight. Langsdorff did the work, and Asprilla made sure to finish it. Also important to note, when T2 are leading at half, they are 3-0-0. And Laura, it's always one of those danger times. If you're T2, you want to make sure you get to the break, maintaining this lead.
Yeah, a lot of coaches call this a big 5 moment. It's the beginning of the game, the first 5 minutes, 5 minutes after a goal. So this is really kind of a double up big 5, because it's 5 minutes after the goal and 5 minutes before the half. A lot of goals occur in those 5-minute periods.
Can T2 potentially find another? We certainly want to make sure they don't get caught too far forward. Would love to add another one before the break. So Asprilla with his 5th goal of the season. Farfan fouls Salgado. Asprilla, when he's played down here, he's either had a ton of success or he's been quiet, but this is his 4th appearance of the season for T2, and in 3 of those matches, he has all 5 of his goals. Asprilla does well to shield that away from Ross. Now under pressure from both Ross and Kiff, he loses out, and it's back to Intoko. As we mentioned, Keysweater's been quiet. Warren still the heavy pressure there. And then Contreras fouls Wharton. Contreras felt like he was kicked by Wharton, even though he got the foul called on him. Now we're back underway once again. Rain coming down a little bit harder now, as we have 1 minute plus stoppage time remaining here at the end of the first half. Key Sweater wins the header in front of Orange Still, but only gets it to Anguiano, plays it back to McIntosh. McIntosh will put it back across midfield, looking for the head of Asprilla. Iffy, though, wins it, and then Asprilla fouls Ross. T2 coming into the day second in goals scored in USL Championship with 23. Today marks their 24th. That penalty kick follow-up from Asprilla, as we'll play 1 minute of stoppage time here at the end of the first half, and it has begun. Contreras, central for Salgado. Salgado able to get there before Farfan will shoot and level the score line in stoppage time of the first half. Omar Salgado picks up a bad back pass, and we're level just before halftime.
We talked about it, right, Fletcher? That final 5 minutes after a goal, always very dangerous moments. There's a lot of emotion after a goal. There's a lot of emotion after getting scored on. A lot of teams take advantage of that.
And it wasn't a back pass, my apologies.
Well, it's just a nice little ball inside, and takes it to his right, does a great job finishing far post.
Believe it or not, the first goal of the year for Omar Salgado. And what an important goal it was. McIntosh's long ball forward, searching for Langsdorff. Goes off his knee, goes down to the ground. Contreras called offside, so his ball will get pulled back. Elijio Erdogan looks at his watch, will play on. Picked up by Contreras. And then Contreras fouled by Hansen. We'll see a yellow card issued to Harold Hansen just before the break.
It's a frustration foul. Contreras picking the ball off, and then midfield with no time left. Contreras on the ball, he's bringing it forward, trying to turn the corner, and Jadama takes that right leg out. Not a dangerous part of the field, not necessary right then.
It's hard to imagine we'll play much more. We've already played 2+ minutes, and there is the end of the first half. So relatively quiet first 40 minutes. And then in the final 5 minutes, we see a goal from each side. Well, as the rain continues to fall, we'll head to the halftime break. Take a look at first half stats, first half highlights, and more coming up here as Portland Timbers 2-1. El Paso Locomotive 1. Second half to follow here from Providence Park.
Phoenix coming out the other way. Junior Fleming's leading the charge. Numbers forward for Phoenix. John trying to go back for Flemings. Black stays down, back across, solo!
We're underway right off the bat. Here's Justin Dillon moving up the middle. He's going to push that ball wide toward Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a first touch cross back inside for Dillon, and a goal! Less than 10 seconds!
Poku slicing through. Quadro Poku! Score! Tejada again
Lomas kicks it to his right, crosses it underneath Miller, and it's knocked away. Spangenberg deflects it, laying out and making the save.
It's a great save against.
Acquired a backstage pass. Doyle recovers. Aduro 1-0.
Go to work to the byline, crossing in. It's a goal! Again, Jerome Kiesewetter.
It's Brighter! What a hit!
Is Electric. Into the box. Strike. And a goal.
Kiesewetter knocked away by Zell.
What a save for Brian Myers.
Dangerous player, perhaps in USL League One. Pepe curls! Ricardo Pepe, brilliance!
Looking to get that right foot off for an incredible one-handed save by Kevin Silva.
Developing situation, Jones. Jones on the move. Jones with a shot! Rips it off the right post. Another opportunity, and the strike is true.
JC Banks now, letting it rip from deep. What a save by Hara!
Team. Cablante back of the net. 42nd minute.
Bowen the second go, falls through, saved by Fitzgerald. Oh, what a stop.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
Halftime here at Providence Park. It's El Paso Locomotive 1, Portland Timbers 2-1. And welcome into the broadcast booth once again. Laura Schott, Fletcher Johnson here with you. And Laura, first 45 minutes, not a whole ton of action in front of goal until that last 5 minutes when we saw a pair of goals. Right,
big five moment. A lot of action in front of goal. El Paso gives up that PK. El Paso gives up that PK. Langsdorff takes that ball and he cuts in. See here in Toko. He turns to play the ball wide. Langsdorff picks it off. Recovering defender just takes out his leg. They're going to dispute it, but there's really nothing to dispute there. Spria, so calm on the PK, but not perfectly placed. Keeper makes a save, but he follows.
Yeah, it's been tough for T2 from the spot this year, but this time they are able to get the job done, and you're thinking, man, Portland's going to carry a lead to the break here, but we move into first half stoppage time, and El Paso had other thoughts thanks to Contreras and Salgado.
You see, really this goal comes off of a build off a throw-in. A great touch to the right there, and fantastic finish by Salgado just to be composed and finish on goal.
So we go to the break 1-1. And as we start to look ahead towards the second half of action, we look at the first half stats, and certainly one that is not necessarily a big surprise is just 7 shots total between the two teams in the match. 5 for T2, just 2 for El Paso Locomotive. El Paso with the better of the possession as well, almost 61.5% of possession to just 38.5% for Portland. Teams fouls, T2 with 11, El Paso with 10. In a lot of ways, it was a relatively even first half, Laura. Maybe a deserved 1-1 scoreline, you would say, given how the two teams played.
It's been a battle. El Paso's good on the road. T2 obviously sitting in third in the USL. They've had great results. They've been building. They've been getting a lot of great opportunities on the wing, crossing balls in, finishing inside the box. So far, it's been a great year for T2. These two teams are going to battle it out.
We're back underway here at Providence Park. El Paso Locomotive with possession, wearing the all-blue kits. Contreras, his 4th assist of the season on that Salgado goal at the end of the first half. The team's trying to warm back up. It is definitely chilly here. Temperatures low 50s, probably be in the high 40s by the end of the match. Oh, Jadama, an important touch there. His key sweater was waiting behind him on that ball that was floating in towards the box. Jadama's header off the knee of Kieswetter. And now T2 with their first possession. Well, it's funny, you look at the first half and you felt that Portland might be carrying all the momentum to the break once they got the penalty kick goal. And then with El Paso scoring just before the break, what do you need to see from Portland here in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half to show you that they're up for the challenge?
T2 just needs to reestablish possession, stay calm, reestablish some momentum and some rhythm in the game. Don't need to do anything special right off the bat, but they do just need to get their rhythm back, get their composure back, head into this second half composed and ready to play.
Here's Salgado, top of the box, time to shoot. Tries a left-footed curler. Doesn't threaten Kendall McIntosh. As mentioned, only 7 total shots. There were a couple moments in the first 15 minutes. 1 for El Paso, 2 for Portland. Nothing basically from the 14th minute to the 40th minute when Langsdorff earns that PK. So El Paso earns it back over the top for Kieswetter. Jadama with an important clearance. 1-1, 48th minute. Early cross sent in by Contreras, cut out by Ornstill and put back across midfield. Rebillon does well to kind of dummy that onto himself as Hurtado was charging hard. Salgado goes down in front of Farfan, playing the ball on the ground. Farfan able to get it back though. Lays it back to Jadama.
It's exciting to see Hurtado go again, trying to press that build out. T2 earned that PK off of Langsdorff, picking off that build out in the first half. Looks like they're sticking with that game plan and trying to put pressure on El Paso again.
Warren still wins the header. Marvin Loria, or make that Hurtado chest down to himself and dribbles through a couple defenders. Chance to shoot, takes a deflection off of Becky with an important effort to come over and deflect that shot, and it's a corner kick for Portland. Be a corner kick for Portland, their third of the night. Wharton to take. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Rebillon momentarily off the field for El Paso, so they're playing a man down. This ball falls to Anguiano, takes the deflection. Headed on by Ross, picked up by Wharton. Wharton goes down. He's told to get up. And El Paso momentarily clears danger, although it's picked up again by Portland off the deflection. Anguiano looking over the top for Langsdorff, who's offside. Couple dangerous moments there for T2. Doesn't amount to anything, though.
That was a nice ball that dropped to Anguiano, and he got a good shot off, just blocked, and then another good opportunity for T2.
Toko over to the far side to Kiffy. Kiffy pressured by Spria. Able to work it around to Spria. Does Kiffy. Now to Herrera, the 23-year-old El Paso native. Made this team via a tryout after catching El Paso's eye at the Alianza de Football tourney in El Paso. As Contreras is fouled by Farfan. Marco Farfan, the Gresham, Oregon native. Centennial High School. Has experienced a ton of success. Signed as a homegrown player, as you see there, in 2016. Missed his prom as he was starting in a match for the MLS Timbers against the LA Galaxy in Los Angeles. Has seen some time with the MLS Timbers and a bunch of time here this year with T2. Salgado holds off Jadama, now tries to work around him, using some of that pace. Jadama trying to track back as quickly as he can. His ball in for Keysweater, and Ornstill with the important block concedes the first corner kick of the night for El Paso.
See the speed front line from El Paso. Salgado just turns and he drives at Jadama here. Gets around that corner, gets that cross off. Sliding save by Ornstill to get that out for a corner. Keysweater was waiting there in the middle of the goal.
So Contreras to take. Ball in towards a penalty spot. Headed away by Jadama. Only as far as Contreras, and then Contreras fouls Anguiano and will receive a card for that challenge.
It's been something common in this game for both squads. It seems almost every time a player gets the edge in the middle third and they start to drive at the back line, there's a foul. Anguiano there, nice little touch. Professional foul to stop the play. Both teams seem a little bit scared to allow the opponent to have free space between the back line and the midfield line.
It's a fourth card issued by Eligio Aragon. 3 to El Paso, 1 to Portland. Contreras and Toko Salgado all carrying yellows. For Portland, it's Harold Hansen who has the yellow card. Asprilla in front of Yuma. Tries to play back to Hansen, doesn't put enough on it, and Ross cuts it out. Portland and El Paso going back and forth here in the first 8 minutes now of the second half. Opening Providence Park here after the renovation. Playing the first match for any club here in this building. As Becky's pass forward picks out Salgado. Salgado looking over the top. McIntosh decides to stay on his line. Ball played back towards Keysweater. And it ends up in another corner kick for El Paso.
Nice little ball in behind. Well-timed run. I had to check the linesman myself to see if it was on, and it was. Got him behind, tried to send that ball back, and covering defender sends it out for a corner.
Maybe a surprise that McIntosh doesn't come off his line. There he is in his first match back this season after suffering a left thigh injury that kept him out to this point. Here comes the ball in. This one doesn't have any curl on it.
That was certainly a mishit. It's one of my pet peeves in soccer. There's a corner that just goes directly out of bounds.
It seems like a wasted opportunity. I mean, call me crazy, but
it happens fairly frequently. Players just maybe overthink a little bit. You know, I got to place this close to goal, and a little bit off, and it's out of bounds.
That was Kiffy there on that corner kick. Asprilla does enough to win the header. Back to Hansen. Now to Langsdorff out wide. Looking central for Loria too much, and Ketterer off his line to collect. Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Portland Timbers 2 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on Portland Timbers 2's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Headed on by Langsdorff, was looking for Loria, but couldn't steer it the direction that he wanted to. Ketterer actually under pressure from Loria. Plays it back into his own box so he can pick it up. See the first sub of the night here for T2 momentarily. This ball forward from Ketterer, dangerous, nearly finds Keysweater, if not for great touch from Jadama. And then off of Salgado into touch, and we will see that substitution. It'll be the 20-year-old Argentinian Christian Ojeda coming on for T2 in place of Marvin Loria, who goes 57 minutes tonight as he recovers from that foot injury he had been dealing with for the last couple months. Laura, what are your thoughts on Marvin Loria's performance here tonight?
Did a great job, especially in that press. He played a very key role in getting forward, and sometimes he'd press higher than Langsdorff in that press of El Paso's build-out. So it'll be interesting to see how Ojeda fills that role now coming in the 58th minute.
As T2 earns the throw, Ojeda made his debut for T2 back on March 30th. He's on loan from Club Athletic Talleres in Argentina. Has appeared for the Argentina U20s on a couple different occasions. And he's been dynamite for T2 when he's come in. Created opportunities. He does have an assist already this year as well in this, his 7th appearance. Ojeda goes down, takes down Yuma, or Yuma goes down, holding his back. And he's looking at Asprilla, unhappy with Dairon Asprilla. See if we can get a look at what happened, Laura.
Oh, Asprilla goes up and, yeah, right foot comes loose and hits him in the back. hard to tell how much contact there was. Maybe from a different angle you can see more, but there really wasn't a reason to make contact with Yuma there.
It seemed relatively innocuous. Wasn't as though there was a lot of force and momentum coming through from Aspria's foot to cause that type of a reaction from Yuma, but we're not the ones on the receiving end of the kick. So
no. I mean, I agree with you, Fletcher. I don't think there's much contact there, but I think from Yuma's point of view, he's probably wondering why should there be any contact at all.
So Yuma walking off under his own power, seems to be fine now. Got the thumbs up from the trainer Stuart Wright back to the bench saying he's okay. And he will wait, and now he will come back on. So El Paso quickly back to full strength. As Ojeda showing off the wheels to chase that one around a little bit. Ketterer, dangerous touch. Eventually plays it out to Kiffey, and it was a nice ball out to Kiffey under a little bit of pressure as well.
El Paso doesn't abandon their build out, even when they're under pressure, even when they've given up that PK as a result of losing the ball in that build out. It's what they do as part of their DNA. They continue to build out. They're very good at it, but it doesn't seem, no matter how much pressure T2 is putting on them, they're going to stick to their game plan.
That's something that head coach Mark Lowry has to be happy about as you look at Cameron Knowles giving instructions to his players. But Mark Lowry, as we mentioned, the first-year manager for this El Paso side. He's assisted by Bob Bigney and J.C. Garzone. He spent his previous 2 seasons at Jacksonville Armada and has a lot of players from those teams on this club as Hurtado kind of mishits the cross. There's a lot of familiarity with these players because of having played together in Jacksonville in the NASL, now NPSL, with one another. Lowry spent the majority of his playing career in the lower levels of England. Came over to the United States, wasn't thinking it would be somewhere that he would stay as Salgado runs over the back of Langsdorff, and he's got to be careful. He's already on a yellow card. Pretty cynical challenge there.
He wasn't sitting on a yellow. I think that would be a yellow. There's no doubt in my mind. It's a little bit surprising that wasn't a second yellow. I mean, there's no play on the ball here. This is just high into your back. There's really no reason to do that, especially when you're sitting on a yellow. It just seems silly.
Salgado, as we mentioned, was a hot commodity back in 2011. It's a high draft pick by the Vancouver Whitecaps. Didn't really amount to anything. Trying to find his way to making a successful career. He was one of the first signings for this El Paso club back in mid-2018 after their expansion side was announced. After he was signed, he spent all of the remainder of last season on loan with Las Vegas Lights. And has the goal here today for El Paso. Oh, too far out in front of Rebellon from Chapa. Luis Herrera, nicknamed Chapa. As Hurtado goes down and is fouled by Chapa.
We've seen this in previous T2 home games. Second half starts, number of fouls, things get a little bit physical, a little bit choppy, and the referee's trying to keep it under control. Really chops up the rhythm of the game. Both teams don't really establish possession and consistent possession, just keeping the ball on the field, keeping the ball moving. Creates an interesting dynamic in the game because as players, you just want to play. You just want to get the ball rolling and you want to go, and every time it stops, it feels like the game just, it is what it is. It just doesn't continue.
So how do you have to adjust as a player to find that rhythm under these circumstances?
It's hard. I mean, emotionally, it's hard as a player with hard fouls and these things that you see happening, like a foot to the back that maybe, didn't really, no intent, but then you see somebody come through high, through a back, and when those things happen, emotions rise, and that's what happens. And as emotions rise, it just builds on each other, and now you start to foul and chops the game up. So really, what you want to do is you want to be the more composed side that just goes back to your game plan, goes back to what you're good at, and establishes that, doesn't get caught up in all the emotion and all the fouls and all the stuff that goes along with those situations.
Hurtado there fouling Chapa. 2 fouls in quick succession. El Paso back in possession. Toko is the one that gave up the ball that eventually resulted in the penalty kick opportunity for Portland. Lost it at his feet there. He's had some nervy moments there in central defense here tonight. For that occasion, though, he was under no pressure. Ball cycles back over to Rebillon. Now out to Salgado. Salgado defended 1v1 by Farfan. Looking over his options, figuring out where he's going to go. Eventually play it back to Contreras. Contreras will shoot from distance. Doesn't get the outside curl he was looking for on that one.
That wasn't the best opportunity on goal. The build-out that they've had, it hasn't created as many shots into the final third as I think El Paso would like to see. They've done a good job of keeping possession for a lot of the game. When they've gotten a hold of the ball, they've been able to build out of the back, except for those few times that it's broken down. Really, you got to give T2 some credit there from pressing them, but neither side with a lot of dangerous chances here to start the second half.
65th minute, 1-1, T2 and El Paso. This ball central for Ojeda, who picks it up 20 yards from goal. Will shoot from distance, off the bar! Falls to Hurtado inside the box. Scramble defense by El Paso. Hurtado sends the cross in between Langsdorff and Asprilla. Ketterer was out of position, and then Asprilla commits the foul and receives the yellow card as well. Golden opportunity for Portland to retake the lead.
That was a great opportunity for T2. What a strike by Ojeda. This ball just bounces loose on top of the box. Takes it to his left. Curling bent ball to that far post. Just bangs it off the crossbar. What a great opportunity. Hurtado tries to follow up and loses it a bit. He does finally get that cross off, but just skipped through Langsdorff and Asprilla.
So we're rating the restart here, and we will see a substitution come for El Paso. Will it be right now is the question. Not really sure what we're waiting for here. Looks like there was an injured player over on the far side of the field. So we'll see the substitution come on. It will be Mishak Jerome, 29-year-old Haitian, who will be going away with the national team for Haiti. Hurtado picks off the pass, sends the first-time cross in, straight at Ketterer, though.
I'd call that an odd decision. I don't know why you take the ball off a free kick and play it directly across your goal to somebody who just subbed in and is still facing their goal. Very dangerous moment for El Paso.
Maybe not good news for El Paso fans is the player going off is Drew Becky, and he is limping. Just signed him midweek to fill the absence that will be left by Mishak Jerome. As this ball over the top from Contreras finds Ross inside the T2 box. He'll lay it off for Chapa, who's coming in running hard. That was Kiffy. Now Ross, central, blocked away by McIntosh. Strong punch by the T2 keeper. Contreras picks it up. Now to Rebillon. Central for Chapa. Defended by Farfan. Back to Contreras. Contreras will send the cross in. And Asprilla able to shield that one away from Kiffy as it goes across the end line. Dangerous there, Ornstill and Keysweater rising for the header. Keysweater went down. Elijio Aragon had a good look at it, decided that was not a foul. As you look at Drew Becky, limping a little bit on that right leg. Was signed on Tuesday. So you got to imagine he was keeping himself in shape, but don't know how good a shape necessarily, and certainly scary for El Paso, as they're going to be light on center backs if Drew Becky is in any sort of rough shape. Asprilla works his way around a couple defenders. Will try the long switch for Hurtado. Goes over the head and deflects off of Rebillon and out to touch. T2 maybe sensing a bit of blood in the water here. That touch by Ojeda. Loses possession. Into space. Here's Kiffy. Back to Intoko. 1-1 in the 69th minute. 2 goals coming in the final 5 minutes before halftime, as Rebillon keeps it away from Hurtado. Jerome, central for Yuma. In case you're just joining us, Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you tonight. The first ever match in the newly renovated Providence Park. Out wide for Ross, defended by Hansen. Hansen on a yellow card. Ross central, too far out in front of Contreras. And Guiano slides to knock it a little further away, but Ross picks it up there. Now to her Chapa, out wide to Salgado. Salgado 1v1 versus Farfan. Decides to go inside. Good pressure by Farfan, forces the pass back to Chapa. Extended buildup here from El Paso. Strong pressure from T2 though. This time Contreras' pass does not find Rebillon. Portland with a chance to release the pressure. Here's Ojeda. Ojeda has Asprilla. Nice touch to get away from one man into space. Now we'll go out wide for Asprilla. Great ball by Ojeda to find Asprilla on the far side. Asprilla will send the cross in, blocked by Intoko and cleared away by Yuma. Only as far as Harold Hansen. Asprilla deflects it off of Yuma. And some exciting stuff there from T2, Laura.
Great little run of play by El Paso, and then in the counter, Ojeda with that touch, turning and then driving down the middle of the field, finding Asprilla wide. Asprilla takes that prep touch, takes a breath, sends that ball. Good job by the El Paso defense to get back, but great little ball by Ojeda. Great decision. Great opportunity for T2.
71st minute, 1-1 between El Paso and T2. Rebillon's pass towards Salgado cut out by Farfan. Now Jerome under pressure from Langsdorff, plays back to Ketterer. Now to Intoko. Ross forward for Contreras, and now a 3v4 for El Paso. Advantage played. Salgado has it 1v1 against Farfan. No other bodies nearby. Now to Chapa. Chapa central for Yuma. Yuma's not aware of Ojeda, who does well to track back and win it. Although El Paso quickly earns it back. Now Contreras flips over the top for Keysweater. Now falls back to Salgado. Salgado on the volley. Badly mishits that one. Although Kiffy gets there in front of Hansen. Settles right on the end line. Does well to earn himself some space. Not much from the cross from that far away though. And Orange still just clears it into space. '73rd minute now. Through ball for Keysweater, read by Ornstill. Now to Anguiano. Anguiano, his pass blocked by Chapa, and eventually finds the feet of Contreras. Contreras, Chapa, Key Sweater, over the top for Salgado. Headed by Key Sweater, but straight up in the air towards goal, and easy stuff for Kendall McIntosh. Mark Lowry incensed down here in his technical area. Not sure what he's unhappy about. Maybe felt like Key Sweater should have done better with that, as El Paso was playing in some tight space there.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really impressive about El Paso is even in tight spaces, they'll continue to build, they'll continue to be patient, they'll connect little passes, and they do a good job of just stepping into spaces. Even there you saw in the attacking third, they step into those spaces, they'll keep the ball, they'll wait for the opportunity.
Pass intended for Key Sweater, easily read by Jadama. Orenstill clears it out into space. Can Asprilla get there before it rolls across the sideline? He does. Gets around Yuma relatively easily. Cuts it back central once again. Plays into space for Anguiano. T2 have numbers forward here if they can use them. Farfan now defended by Rebillon. And Farfan loses out. Great defending there by Byram Rebillon. Jadama fouls Key Sweater.
There you see the foul at Jadama. That's what we've seen all game long. Jadama steps forward and fouls when Farfan's out of position because he went forward in the attack, lost the ball. T2 very conscious to not allow the opponent in behind the backs.
Here's Key Sweater, been quiet tonight, sends the cross in, looking for Salgado, goes over his head, nearly finds Nick Ross. Now Asprilla tracks back to collect. He'll run away from Chapa relatively easily. He'll go around another, and then a foul is called on Kiffy. Stuck his arm out. You could say Asprilla went down easy, but he does receive the yellow card, does Kiffy, for the foul.
Asprilla nutmegs him on the way by. Just defender bumps him. Asprilla made something of it, but really it's just another moment of that's not necessary. There's no reason to make contact at all.
Chapa is coming out in favor of the 34-year-old Ireland native Richie Ryan. 12th team in 17 pro seasons for Ryan, who spent much of his career thus far in England and Ireland. Came to North America in 2014 with the Ottawa Fury. Has over 200 professional appearances in his career, and this actually the first match he has not started this season. So a bit of a different role for Richie Ryan here in this match against T2. As Rebillon steps up, great win by him. Outside of the penalty kick he allowed, he has done very well as Rebillon here tonight, as Anguiano slides to keep that away from Salgado and out to touch.
It was a great tactical move by Anguiano there to track back, and if you beat Anguiano in that play, now you're facing the T2 backs, and he did a great job to go down in that play, get the ball out of bounds. If Anguiano doesn't make that play, El Paso can build. They can go at the T2 backline. They can start to go to goal. That's why that play is so important.
All central for Salgado. Farfan does well to read it. It was behind Salgado, so Farfan able to pick it up. This time can't control the heavy back pass from Hurtado. Goes out to touch. Key Sweater, not where Mark Lowry, as head coach, I imagine, would want him out here on the wing. He wants him in front of the goal. Contreras with the long switch over to Kiffy.
It's not necessarily surprising, though, to see Key Sweater start to move a little bit. Actually, a little bit surprised he hasn't drifted a little bit more, because it's been really hard for El Paso to find him.
77th minute. 1-1. As McIntosh collects. Fun to see McIntosh back on the field in that bright orange kit for T2. Langsdorff chest down to Ojeda. Back to Langsdorff. Loses it momentarily in front of Yuma, but back into space for Hansen. Certainly seems like there are goals left in this match. It's just a matter of whether or not these teams will be able to find them. Hansen with the long dribble forward. It's taken away by Ryan. Now Contreras will look to dribble at Wharton. Wharton does well to slow up Contreras, who eventually plays it back into his own half. T2, as mentioned, 5 results in their last 6 matches. Meanwhile, El Paso unbeaten in their last 5, looking to extend that streak. Nice ball back behind for Kiffey. Runs into the box, gets around Asprilla. Orenstill's there, and then Ryan stopped his run. I think that it was Ross that stopped his run. He could have been right there with an opportunity to take a shot. And you can tell Mark Lowry is not happy with Ross for stopping his run there. Just held up for 1 step, and Anguiano was able to beat him to the ball.
I've seen that in a couple moments, and you wonder at this point in the game if the players are starting to get a little bit tired. Saw that opportunity a couple minutes ago where El Paso turned. They started to go down the left wing and just turned back and kept possession in the middle of the field. They couldn't get the numbers forward. So as we enter, or almost enter, the final 10 minutes of the game here, fatigue starts to set in, and we'll see if that plays a role for either side.
Here comes Kiffey dribbling at Hansen. Hansen does well. And then a foul called on Contreras.
We talked about fouls in the first 15 minutes of this half, and then for about the last 10-15 minutes, I thought we were starting to get some rhythm to the game, and now the hard contact resumes.
Rebillon remains down.
That's hard contact from behind. And the second contact. It's been a physical game.
It has, especially in the second half. And a light back pass from Intoko puts Ketterer in a very dangerous position as the offside flag was up on El Paso. Farfan does well to keep that in play, and then his pass doesn't do much for Chidama, although T2 somehow able to maintain possession and then eventually goes out for an El Paso throw. Yeah, you sense that teams are getting a little tired, players are getting a little tired here. It's cold, it's rainy. Just haven't quite had the same crispness that maybe they did in the first half.
You see each side, their first touch is a little bit long. And when your first touch is a little bit long, it invites that hard contact. We're seeing a lot of that hard contact. Sometimes the players are making contact with the ball. Sometimes they're making contact with the player because they're a little late.
Keysweater does well to win that. Chidama's caught out of position, and here comes Salgado. It's only 1v4, but Salgado using a lot of that speed, and then Orenstill cuts in front of him. And that ball stays in play. It hit off the corner flag. The ball stays in play, and Orenstill able to get up, collect it, and T2 come the other direction. Omar Salgado was sure he had won his team a corner kick, but instead, that ball bounced off the corner flag. How rare is it that you see that?
You see that long run and the tackle. Great awareness for Orenstill to get up. It's so unlikely that that ball hits the corner flag and stays in. It almost never happens, and he gets up and he gets there first. Well done by him.
Contreras fouls Anguiano. 82nd minute now, still 1-1. Final 8 minutes plus stoppage time at the discretion, I should say, of Eligio Region. Wharton picks out Hansen. Hansen will send the cross in. This floated towards the back post. Hurtado wins the header over Rebillon, but can't keep it down, and it ends up in a goal kick.
I'll be honest, I'm going to see the replay. I thought there was a lot of contact on the back post and that Langsdorff might have been dragged down. That ball's flighted into the far post, and Langsdorff tries to get up, but he's held.
Here comes the 33-year-old dispossessed by the young T2 defense. Quickly back in possession as Anguiano loses out, though. Here's Rebillon. Now Hurtado, and out off of Contreras to touch. Substitution for T2, their second of the night. It'll be the youngster Gio Calixtro, 18 years old from Cornelius, Oregon, in. Foster Langsdorff out. Not necessarily a surprise we see Langsdorff come out, Laura, given that T2 will play another match on Wednesday. So a little bit of minute managing, so to speak, as Calixtro comes on in place of Langsdorff.
Now that is a quick turnaround. Calixtro, though, has had some good minutes for T2. Strong young player, he's quick, he can get in the attack. He might add something very positive for T2 here in the last few minutes.
Calixtro with a brace against Los Dos on March 30th. Is a Timbers Academy player. 85th minute now, 1-1. Salgado goes down, no foul called. And Asprilla clears out towards midfield. Calixtro battling with Intoko. Calixtro a little smaller than Intoko. As El Paso keeps possession. Tune in to ESPN News on Wednesday, June 5th at 6 p.m. for Wednesday Night Soccer, when OKC Energy FC travels to Albuquerque to face current Western Conference leaders New Mexico United. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer, June 5th at 6 p.m. on ESPN News. And Ross is offside. Felt like he checked his run long enough, but he did not. Well, let's go ahead and take a look back. Well, let's not, as Kendall McIntosh went quickly with the restart there. Key Sweater can't control that one. Jadama plays it back to McIntosh. Is out to Jadama. Key Sweater looking at his teammates, wondering where the high press is, as McIntosh was able to coolly play that out. That ball clearly goes out off of Salgado, but they're giving possession to El Paso. The ball clearly deflected off of the legs of Omar Salgado.
Yeah, there you go. You can see the ball change direction and then go out of bounds. It really isn't debatable. It should have been T2 ball.
Well, and there's the karma, so to speak, as Contreras just basically chests it out to touch. Although El Paso quickly back in possession. Kiffey controlling on the far side. Fans of USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local talent and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Hurtado nearly tracks back to cut out that pass to Rebillon. Salgado actually plays it off the head of Farfan there. Dribbling into the box. Here comes Salgado, shoots, and blocked by Kendall McIntosh.
Salgado did a wonderful job of turning that corner and then driving at the near post. McIntosh with a wonderful save. There you go with Salgado turning that corner, cutting it from that right side to his left. Takes that final touch there before the shot. McIntosh closes.
Second corner kick. Make it third corner kick of the night for El Paso. Omar Salgado, really the lone bright spot in the attack for El Paso here tonight, as we have 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining for either of these teams to find a winner. Headed up in the air. Brought down by Anguiano. Anguiano plays it behind Asprilla. Counter would have been on for T2. Would have been a 4v3 potentially. But instead, here comes Revion the other way. First time cross, blocked away by Jadaman out to touch. Mark Lowry tells his team to hold up a bit. No rush. You start to get the feeling that they might be happy to walk away with a point here. Over to Kiffey. Wharton. Now back to Ross. Deflected and blocked by Wharton. Hurtado does well to track back and win it. And then Hurtado is fouled. 1.5 minutes remaining, plus stoppage time. Fletcher Johnson, Laura Schott here with you at Providence Park. Still raining. It's rained consistently throughout the course of the evening. As McIntosh will get us back underway. We're hearing potentially 3 minutes of stoppage time. So still an opportunity for one of these teams to find 3 points as Hansen fouls Ross. T2 undefeated this season when tied at half, 1-0-1. Looking to keep that record intact, but certainly would like the 3 points as Meshach Jerome dives down to head it back to Ketterer. Man, had that gone awry, both Calixtro and Asprilla were ready to pounce. Had to be inch perfect from Jerome, and it was.
Yeah, that was gutsy and savvy. I don't know if I've quite seen that commitment to get down that low to head it back to the keeper in that situation, but he did that very confidently, and it worked out really well.
We've seen some unique choices and options from the center back pairing of El Paso tonight, and Toko and Drew Becky, and now Meshach Jerome. Some interesting things. Some worked, some didn't. And Toko sent a pass that was deflected by Langsdorff that eventually earned the penalty kick for Portland. As Calixtro nearly in position to steal that pass from Ntoko to Jerome. Calixtro maintains possession, does well in front of a couple players. That was actually Ojeda, and Ojeda hit in the face by Meshach Jerome. Asprilla dribbling into the box. Ojeda gets up, and then Asprilla is called for a foul on Human. Yes, he was called for the foul, and then we have a yellow card for the elbow that Jerome threw at Ojeda. And maybe potentially lucky that it was only a yellow card for Jerome.
Yeah, you never want to see that happen. I can understand why the official let it play, because you could say that T2 had an advantage, but he takes a great touch here to his left, and that arm comes out, and he extends that hand through his face.
So we're nearly through 1 minute of the added 3 at the discretion of Eligio Edegan. Hurtado can't control it off his head. 1.5 minutes remaining. We saw fireworks at the end of the first half when maybe we weren't expecting them. Will we see them at the end of regulation? Ornstill works his way around Keysweater, and he has frustrated Keysweater tonight, has Ornstill. Jerome Keysweater coming in had 3 consecutive matches with it 2 goals, and he has been very quiet tonight. Farfan trying to work his way around 2 defenders, manages to still somehow keep the ball, still with it at his feet, will send the cross in. Now to Anguiano. Anguiano defended there, picked up by Ojeda, shoots, and just wide. Ketterer was concerned, diving to his left, but it was not on frame.
Great cross here after a wonderful individual effort. Ojeda cuts it, Anguiano cuts it back, and Ojeda hits the shot just wide of the post, but a wonderful opportunity.
We've played the added 3 minutes at the discretion of Eligio Edigan. Salgado to Yuma. Ryan. Back to Kiffy. Is there one more chance in this match? Here comes Esprilla bringing it the other way in front of Salgado. Gets it out to Farfan. Forward for Hurtado. And that should just about do it. And that is the final whistle. Mark Lowry applauding his team for their performance to come on the road and get a point, extend their unbeaten streak to 6. Meanwhile, T2 just one loss now in their last 7 matches as Portland moves to 19 points, a record of 5-2-4. El Paso 17 points and a record of 4-2-5. Well, let's go ahead and look at our full match highlights from this one. We'll start off in the 41st minute where T2 earns a penalty kick.
There we go with the center back turning. That build out from El Paso just doesn't quite connect. Langsdorf does a good job to press and PK results.
It was a spree to take. Wasn't well struck though.
Not his best strike on a PK, but well done to finish. Keeper made a great save here, diving to his right, and Esprilla keeps his composure after the miss and finishes with his left.
So you're feeling pretty good about Portland's opportunities heading into the break. Just needed to maintain that goal lead, but in first half stoppage time, it was Omar Salgado from Contreras.
Yep, less than 5 minutes later off that throw-in, ball pops back there. Nice little touch to his right. Finishes far post, tie game.
So we went to the break 1-1. And then we moved to the 66th minute, 65th minute. It was Christian Ojeda going off the crossbar.
This was an amazing shot by Ojeda. Takes that touch to his left. Bent ball in, just pings it off the crossbar. Hurtado does a good job to get on the end of it. I think he would have liked to get the shot off, but bounced around, and then he had to turn and hit the cross.
In the 82nd minute was Omar Salgado with a big dribble forward.
Yeah, Salgado goes here with the long touch. Great job by the defender to come across. Ball stays in play. He even does a good job to be first to the ball and win that last ball.
And then in second half stoppage time, it was T2 nearly with the fireworks.
Yeah, here we go with a great individual effort. He slides his ball across with his left across the 6. Here we go, nice touch back with his right. Oh man, just wide of the post. Another great opportunity for Ojeda.
Ojeda came on, provided a spark. Just wasn't quite enough as T2 outshoots El Paso, but look at the possession number, 65% to the visitors. 7 yellow cards issued tonight in this one as well, just 6 total shots on target between the two teams. Well, as we mentioned, it's a quick turnaround for T2. They'll be back in this building come Wednesday night against Real Monarchs at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, El Paso Locomotive go to Tacoma Defiance on June 1st at 8 p.m. Well, for our entire broadcast team here at Providence Park, my broadcast partner, Laura Schott, I'm Fletcher Johnson. It finishes tonight, Portland Timbers 2-1, El Paso Locomotive 1. We'll talk to you here from Providence Park on Wednesday night.